Welcome to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show featuring a variety of subjects of local interest. This program was pre-recorded, so we're unable to take live calls on today's show. And now, let's talk about it.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk About It Sunday show. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, here on AM 1470 KELA and KELAAM.com. After the show, stay tuned for Fox News and Fox News Sunday. But right now, I want you to stay tuned because we have a really great guest today. We have Mike, Chris, and Cynthia from the Centralia-Chehalis Chamber of Commerce, a great organization that does a lot of good for our business community, as well as a lot of philanthropic and community giving, whether it be through scholarships or just giving back through, Black Friday bags. They do so much in our community. So I wanted to highlight some of the great things they're doing, and also wanted to highlight why you'd want to be a chamber, because being a member of the chamber is important because you get to be a part of some of these great events and talk to other business members in the community about your business and what you do. And we know that when you're choosing local and you're shopping local, you have a greater impact on your community and the people who are living and working in it. So without further ado, Cynthia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
How was that introduction?
That was fantastic.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I got a good introduction in on for you. But because I don't know, have you been on Let's Talk About It with me since you became the chamber director?
No, I haven't.
I think this is your first time.
Yeah.
So
be gentle.
I will be no hard balls, just no curveballs and hard balls. But so let's talk a little bit about the chamber. So what brought you to the chamber?
Actually, I moved to Chehalis. My parents lived here for over 30 years and raised sheep in Chehalis.
They were sheep farmers.
Is that
what they're sheep herders?
Gentlemen sheep farmers.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you one of the very first sheep they bought, they transported in the back of their Mercedes-Benz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So think of Green Acres.
So Beverly Hillbillies, the Chehalis Hillbillies, right? With their
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that rancher probably was just scratching their head when they watched them drive off into the sunset with their sheep.
So how long ago was that?
Over 30 years ago.
Okay.
And so both of them have since passed on, but my sister and I continue living on the farm, and we have goats, not for ranching, but to just keep the pasture down.
Now, I know we're going to talk about chamber stuff, but so sheep people and goat people normally don't get along. Mm-hmm. That's my wife, who raised goats in 4-H or FFA, always told me that she had a friend who raised sheep, but they never talked to each other during fair. Yeah, so how do you go from sheep to goats?
Our family didn't talk to each other either. So there you go. It just all makes sense when you think about it.
That's great.
No.
So now you're the director of the chamber, and you're promoting our community and our businesses.
Yeah, and I love it. I've worked for chambers in the past. I've mostly done a lot of nonprofit event management work. Spent 17 years in Astoria, Oregon, and finally got a chance to move up here and live on the family farm, so that's been great. What I love about this job is it just instantly connected me with the community in a real big way, and not just the businesses, but just everybody. It's been great. I've just loved it. And, of course, I have a fabulous staff.
You do.
As I wave to Chris.
Yeah, and Chris, welcome to the show, too.
Thanks, Peter. I'm excited to be here.
So let's talk about your role at the chamber. What do you do?
Oh, Lord. I do a lot of everything. I'm the events coordinator, office manager. I have to say I have been blessed to be in this community, very open-armed, met wonderful people, excited about helping these businesses, and just really helping grow our small businesses and connecting people. So it's been wonderful.
Now, I'm sure a lot of people recognize you because you're recognizable, because you're in the community so much, and you do a lot of community outreach. But can I just say you were hilarious this past season as an elf on the shelf running around Chehalis in businesses. And that was the first time I think the chamber's done that.
It is.
So where did you get that idea? It was a great idea.
So I don't even remember how it started, to be honest. I got this goofy costume and came in, showed Cynthia, and we've just went crazy from there. And I have to tell you, it has been a wonderful experience for not only the businesses, but to see the kiddos' faces has been amazing. And just the blessing to be able to have that at the chamber is fun. It's so fun. I love my ears.
You did a great job. And I remember, I mean, you've done a lot of great work at the chamber, whether it be an Elf on the Shelf, which is funny, the sweater party. But, you know, it's not all just fun and games, because one of the things that you work really hard at with Cynthia and your other staff and members is Black Friday bags.
Yes, that's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
It is a lot, right?
It is.
And as a chamber member, it's one of the things that I love that you do. Talk a little bit about that, because that's a huge, almost like a tradition for so many families.
It is. And I have to say, when you get these bags, you think, oh my goodness, what is in there? But the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, the sponsors, the food that gets placed in them, businesses that give you gift cards, the coupons to shop at these businesses and really patronize them to help them stay in business is hours behind the scenes. And you really don't know that when you're collecting that bag, right?
Right.
And it's just all the volunteers that come out and take the time to make sure everybody gets a bag. We stand in line for hours. I mean, it's a wonderful experience, but yes, a lot of hard work behind the scenes.
Yeah, and even before that, I mean, if you want to rewind a couple years during COVID, I mean, the chamber was an integral part of, to support businesses with the PPE stuff,
yes,
as well as with families in terms of food gathering. I mean, I remember coming to the mall over here in Chehalis, and there were pallets of food that was donated from all different organizations, UNFI and others, where you had a food distribution, and that was huge.
Yeah, there was, we put together over 250 boxes of food for local families. And as you said, a lot of that food was donated. But to see that each one of those families were able to have a hot meal and have a turkey was so amazing. And the appreciation was awesome.
Yeah.
Absolutely awesome.
And it was for Thanksgiving, and at that time, and it still is, I mean, inflation's ridiculous, but turkeys were so expensive, so to have that donated and to have a 250 families have a Thanksgiving meal that otherwise would have probably busted the budget was awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. And with us as well, Mike, thanks for being here. You're from Lucky Eagle Casino.
That's absolutely correct. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and so, Mike, you're also a board member.
Yes, that's correct.
And you, tell me a little bit about the benefit of being a chamber member from Lucky Eagle Casino's perspective.
I think the biggest thing is about being good neighbors. So for us, the community is very, very important. So any chance that we have to either give back or to share experiences with other people is very positive for us.
Right. And you're a big employer.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, what's great about what the Chamber offers, too, is the fact that you've got some small businesses who have maybe sole proprietorships, 1 or 2 people.
Yep.
You have mine, which is probably about 15 to 20 people. And then you have Lucky Eagle Casino, which is larger. So the Chamber actually services businesses and helps businesses from small scale to large scale.
Absolutely. Anybody and everybody.
And
We'd love to have them.
Yeah, and it's always important to mention if someone's listening to the show, and if you are tuning into Let's Talk About It Sunday, I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, on KELA AM 1470. The Chamber's with us, and if you want to be a Chamber member or get more information, they can go to chamberway.com.
You can.
You can, or go to Facebook or some of the other sites you have.
You can call us. We'd love to talk to you.
Chris wants to talk to you. What's your phone number, Chris? Not your personal phone number, the Chamber Way one.
360-748-8885. We'd love to talk with you.
So we're talking a little bit about some of the events. We're kind of doing a high-level one, but we're going to get into some of the weeds on this. And one event that I really want to flesh out, because I think people are going to be excited about this, and I know they're going to be excited about it because Mike is excited about it. Before the show, I was talking to him a little bit about this basketball tournament that's being sponsored and going to be in the community, and his eyes lit up. And I know there's going to be so many people who are going to be excited about this. So, Mike, tell us a little bit about this tournament.
Well, 3-on-3 is coming to Lewis County, basically. So we're actually really proud for Lucky Eagle. We're one of the sponsors for this tournament. It basically is bringing the 3-on-3 atmosphere to our streets. It's going to be a great community activity. People are going to come out, see what's going on, visit our businesses, and I think just have a great weekend overall.
Yeah, and so do we know when it's going to be yet?
We do.
Okay. Is this an exclusive? It's a let's talk about it Sunday exclusive?
Yes, it's an exclusive. We'll let Cynthia go ahead and...
Well, we're going to have it August 5th and 6th, Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to take place on Pacific Avenue, so it's right close to downtown. And because there's an app for that, you don't have to wait anymore to see when you're playing. You can check your app, which gives you time to shop or eat, or your fans coming down to cheer you on. They can shop and eat right downtown. We're really excited about it.
That's awesome. August 5th and 6th,
Yes.
right downtown Chehalis. And for the serious players, I would encourage you not to eat and drink before the game or during the game. But for a beer league...
I encourage them to visit everybody downtown and make sure that we get some food and we get some drinks and just enjoy our time. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, people talk a lot about this tournament or tournament like it in Spokane.
Yes.
As it really what has become a game changer, a kind of beacon for people all over the Pacific Northwest go to Spokane for this tournament. So are we looking at starting this small scale and then growing it?
Yes.
Well, what we're also hoping to do is incorporate Centralia in it. It's not going to just stay in Chehalis. We would really like to see it grow so that both towns are going to benefit. Yeah. So that's one of the ways I think we can grow it and make it even more exciting.
Yeah, because you could probably have some games in Chehalis and some games in Centralia or move it back and forth. But I think you have it in both cities at the same time and just stagger the games so people can go to both and maybe do a twin transit shuttle to get the players back and forth.
Yeah, ideas are endless. I mean, that's what I'm so excited about. This is just the first year, and I'm excited to see how it grows.
And so, Mike, you're from Walla Walla.
Yes, sir.
And you were telling me about Walla Walla has this tournament.
Yeah, they have the Peach Basket Classic. It's been going on for very many years. I remember the first one that went on, and I think the first one had maybe 24, 25 teams. It wasn't very many. And they shut down basically downtown. And of course, it was only, a block or two at that time. And, it was kind of, interestingly perceived at first because, we're blocking traffic and all that. Well, now it's grown. I think it's 60 to 80 some teams. It's a 2-day event. They've got basically the whole main street blocked down, and it is a absolute party out there. People just have a great time. All the restaurants are opened up. We've got outdoor dining going on. So everybody just spends the whole day downtown. So it's great for our businesses, and everybody just enjoys it. And you get to kind of showcase your town, which I think is wonderful for us to do here. We're going to probably start out, we're going to have more local individuals in this first tournament. As it grows, we'll get people from out of town. We'll get to show them what's so great about Centralia and Chehalis.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, it's great. We live in a community that's a very giving community,
Absolutely.
But it's a very event-driven community. We love events, whether it's small events, big events. We like events, car shows, and I think this basketball tournament is going to blow up pretty quickly. I think people are going to be really excited, not just for our community, but being so equal distance between Portland and Seattle, I think you're going to get an influx of tourism just for this.
And I think also, as it grows, it's so many different divisions. So you might have, your son or daughter playing maybe in Chehalis, and then also dad or mom's playing in Centralia. So everybody can be involved with this. This isn't just for the kids. It's not just for the adults. This is a family event, and that's what I think is the most important about this.
No, I think that's great, and you're right. It can really turn into something that can be a family event where maybe you got family ball. Right? You got family. I mean, it'll be a lot of fun. And I would be remiss not to mention, and I know this isn't related to this, but Lucky Eagle's doing a great job. They always donate like buses and support our law enforcement torch run. Every year they do that, and I always appreciate that. It's always good because a lot of this, people sometimes think, when you join the chamber of your business, it's all about just promoting your name and getting more customers. It's really not. This is a perfect example where you're sponsoring this tournament for really the quality of life in our community. It's not going to translate into just like dollars for you. It's actually just about making our community better.
100%. As most businesses know, is our communities thrive, the businesses thrive.
Yep.
So the community is the most important thing to look at.
Yeah. And I think that's a value that you find in communities like ours that you don't always find in others that adopt that kind of value that as our community succeeds, my business will succeed too.
We all succeed.
We all succeed,
Yeah, we all
right?
succeed.
We all want to give back.
Yep.
Let's talk about it Sunday with Peter Abbarno. My special guests today are the Centralia-Chehalis Chamber of Commerce, and we're going to take a brief break for our sponsor. Stay tuned.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. Stay tuned. Let's Talk About It Sunday edition will return in a moment.
Okay, and now back to business.
Listen on the air and online.
KELA.
Let's talk about it. Good morning. You're listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. This program was pre-recorded, so no live phone calls on today's show.
All right, we're back with Let's Talk About It Sunday. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, here with the Centralia-Chehalis Chamber of Commerce, talking about all the great things they're doing in our community. And just a reminder to stay tuned after the show. We've got Fox News and Fox News Sunday coming on after Let's Talk About It Sunday, which airs every Sunday right here on AM 1470 KELA and KELAAM.com at 7:30 in the morning on Sunday. And then we stream the show afterwards on KELAAM.com, and you can find us on social media. Look for us at KELA or KMNT. Chris, the one thing that people, with all the things we do out in the community, we also have a chamber office that provides a ton of resources, and you're there almost all the time.
All the time.
So tell me about where it's located and what you have, whether you're local, just looking to kind of expand your experiences, or maybe you're a traveler coming through.
Sure. So we have lots of stuff in our office. Our address first is 500 Northwest Chamber of Commerce Way, Chehalis, Washington. I would encourage you to stop in. We have every kind of brochure you could imagine. We have local stuff. We have traveler stuff. We have Southwest tourist guide that just came out. There will be another one coming out the end of this month, actually. We have phone books. I didn't know they were such a hot commodity, but we have them. The other thing I would say is if you're looking to do something either in Lewis County or in the local area, we have guides that we have a brochure company that comes in once a month and fulfills our racks and makes sure we have the latest and greatest, along with local businesses bring their brochures. So if you're looking for something that you're not aware of in our community, we have a whole wall that businesses can put their leaflets and brochures on that will tell you what they do or how they can help you.
Yeah, and I think that's a great resource. As a business owner myself, I know that it's important to make sure that not only are you sharing it with people who are coming through town, but that you're sharing it with other businesses and local folks who, may not be aware of all your services or things that you can provide. And the Chamber helps get the name out there, as well as kind of a little bit of background about what each business does. Mm-hmm. So that's a great thing.
The one thing I will say is for businesses that are either coming in the area or new families that are moving to the area, I would encourage you to come by our office and get all the leaflets and brochures, because we have our chamber business directory that has so much information about all the local businesses in the area that are chamber members. But more importantly, we make a stack of information for you so you know what's available to you in our community.
Yeah, I think that's important. And you're talking about a stack of paper, and I definitely don't want to run out of time and not ask you about the Rob Fuller Scholarship, because you were saying that you had been spent the last week going through tons of applications for the scholarship. The Rob Fuller Scholarship luncheon is in May, and there's a ton of students who look for opportunities to further their education.
So I would say last year was very
post-COVID low.
Yes.
Right?
It was not what I had hoped for, but I will tell you this year, I've stepped outside the box and really went to the schools and made lots of phone calls and encouraged kiddos. And if they brought in one application, I would ask questions. Hey, have you considered this? Have you tried that? And I just tell them all, don't stop at one, apply for all, because you don't know. And I'm not going to release any names for privacy reasons, but I had a dad call me and he said, I don't meet this criteria and that criteria. I said, where do you bank? He tells me where he's banking. I said, where does your son bank? He says, at a chamber member. I said, apply. And I have to tell you, he came back and he is so grateful he applied. Yeah. We came out with 157 applicants this year. It was very rewarding.
Yeah, it was rewarding, but you also shared that some of the stories in the applications are sad, right?
They are, but I'm telling you, they're so heartfelt, and the kids really have put their blood, sweat, and tears into those applications. If it was up to me, I'd give them all one, but I don't get to make that decision, thank goodness.
Well, let's highlight two, because I think it's important to highlight two really important scholarships that have maybe a little extra meaning for the community. One is out of Adna and one is out of Centralia. Do you want to talk about those two?
Sure. So we have Shailene Collinsworth. She was a student that passed away due to an impaired driver. Very sad. Her mother is a wonderful soul.
Debbie Collinsworth.
Yes.
Great human being.
Yes. Yeah. And she's always so kind. Every year I send her the applicants and she makes her decision along with you, Peter. And she's always so sweet. And I just tell you, that application and that process is so meaningful to watch those kids come in and apply for that. The Adna student was Olivia Mitchell. Susie is her mother. She is another one that's just the sweetest lady. They have chosen a recipient again this year, and I had the opportunity today to talk to Susie, and she said that she really felt like the student they had chosen really fulfilled a lot of what her daughter had passed away from, was a heart attack due to a heart condition unbeknownst to us. And the little girl is going to really bring back the feeling that Susie had missed so long ago. So these applicants are just amazing.
Yeah. And each year, when do you post the link for these students to start applying?
So we activate all of our links in February, and we make our decisions. I shouldn't say we. That's not true. The Chamber doesn't choose all the applicants. We make the decision in right after the quarter ends for the kids, so that we have their GPAs and all their transcripts and stuff. So right about the beginning of May is when the kids are chosen.
So make sure you pay attention, parents and students. If you're listening to the show, make sure next year in February you go to chamberway.com and you check out their website, because those links are going to become active. And so, Cynthia, you've also got a publication that goes in the Chronicle. That goes out, isn't it the first Thursday every month?
It's the first Thursday. It's called Business Connections.
It's a great publication, not just because I write an article in there, but it actually provides a ton of information from Chamber members.
It does. We try and highlight a number of our members, and not just what they offer, but how they run as a business and what works for them, and how they succeed and how they overcome some of the obstacles of being in a business. So we really try and highlight as many businesses as possible in that. The other thing is we have one page devoted. One of the membership benefits is one of the pages is just devoted to announcements, and that's free to our members. They just have to submit their 200 words or less, and we'll get it in that page every month, and that alone pretty much pays for their membership for many of them.
Yeah, and that insert's in the Chronicle the first Thursday of the month. I really encourage you to pick up your Chronicle. Look at the Business Connections. It's a great publication. Has a lot of good information, because the Chamber gives back. The Chamber does a lot for the community, but one of its missions is to educate the community and other businesses about what's going on, so that they can become better.
Yes, exactly. That's really one of the things we are really focused on. And most of our businesses, especially we're a small community, and so the businesses are part of our community. Yeah. And so we really encourage people to support them, and including the very large businesses provide so many jobs for this community. And actually, I'm going to weave it back a little bit to the 3-on-3 Street Ball Festival. One of the reasons we wanted to do this is we wanted some of the large companies. I kind of envision, and I'm hoping this happens, that Unify and Steel and maybe even Lucky Eagle, all our chamber businesses kind of pull together a team or two. And we'd really like to see those people out there on the streets competing and kind of bringing some team spirit to their companies.
No, I think that's great. There's a lot of those opportunities, I think, through the events you put on and the activities you put on. Some of the benefits, obviously, that we started this year was having a monthly call with your legislative delegation, which is a kind of a neat thing for members to be able to ask people like myself, Senator Braun, and Representative Orcutt questions about what's going on in the legislature. How is this going to impact my business?
That has been, in my opinion, invaluable. For one, it's not often you just get this kind of intimate phone conversations through Zoom, right? We see each other, but we get really a behind-the-scenes update on what's going on and a relaxed atmosphere to ask questions that maybe you might be intimidated to ask in some other forum. And this has just been a fabulous, and Peter, I really appreciate you and all our representatives for participating in that. It's just been fabulous.
Yeah, it's really been a great opportunity. Well, Mike, Chris, Cynthia, thank you for coming on the show, joining us on Let's Talk About It Sunday here on AM 1470. Appreciate everything you're doing at the Chamber. Thank you, Mike and Lucky Eagle Casino. I think that's great what you're doing. I'm really looking forward to the basketball tournament.
As we are, too.
It's going to be great. Again, thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Sunday. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, on KELA AM 1470. Up next is Fox News and Fox News Report. And if you want to learn more about the Centralia-Chehalis Chamber of Commerce, be sure to go to chamberway.com. Again, thank you for tuning in.